Good morning, friends and family. Welcome to Alessandra Food is Love. We are still in quarantine, and this morning we're running low on groceries, and it's quite difficult to get a delivery on the food. And so I was thinking what to make for lunch. So I opened up the freezer with very few basic ingredients that you probably have in your own freezer. I'm going to make palak, spinach with onions. Extremely easy recipe, so tasty that you'll be wondering what kind of spices I put in it, but let's take a look what I actually use, which is just incredible, simple dish, but so flavorful. So let's get started. I have 2 packets of chopped frozen spinach, 1 pound each. So if you need to make less, you could just cut the recipe. And I purchased this at Whole Foods. We have 3 medium sliced onions thinly. As you could see, they are sliced nice and thin because we'll be frying that. I have 6 whole chili peppers that I will crush into the oil. And I have a glass of water, cold water is fine. 1/3 of a cup of, I'm using canola, but you could use also a vegetable, sunflower, any kind of oil that's going to hold to a high temperature. And I have a teaspoon of salt. You could put more or less according to your taste. Now let's move over to the stove and get started with the recipe. And I'll guarantee you within 30 minutes you'll have a hot meal on the table. That's the idea. 1 pan, quick, easy, things that we have in the freezer. Let's get started. Okay, we moved over to the stove. I put my oil in I'm using a saute pan that's basically 12 inches wide, 4 inches high. It avoids a little bit of the splatting for the cleanup later. I'm gonna put my flame on high and get the oil nice and hot, okay? The first thing I'm gonna do is take my chili pepper and just crush it with my hands and put it in the oil. Okay, now, according to your taste, you could reduce the chili peppers. You could just maybe use 1 or 2. We like it very spicy, so 6. And don't forget, I also have 2 pounds of spinach, so it's a lot. This is gonna last us for today and tomorrow. Usually if there's any leftover, the next morning we like to warm it up in a frying pan, the ready spinach, crack a couple eggs open on top and have that. It's a nutritious, healthy way to start the day with the spinach and eggs. Okay, now as the oil warms up and the hot pepper starts releasing its heat in the oil. Okay, so now the oil is nice and hot. The heat is being released into the oil from the chili peppers. I'm going to add my onions, and you can hear it frying beautifully. Hear that? Okay. Oh wow, the chili's hot. But now, importantly, I'm going to be adjusting my flame a little lower. This process in Urdu is called bagari. Okay, actually what I'm making is, as my wonderful father-in-law, I mentioned in previous video how much I miss him. Baba is no longer with us, but he had also a passion for food, and that passion together, we will remember him today through his palak. This process of the recipe is very important. You do not want to walk away. You don't want to burn the onions. You want to caramelize the onions. So I'm going to stay here, control the flame between medium and high. And as the onions start browning, I will be adding a little bit of water at a time. So it brings down the burning process and lets the onion caramelize to a golden brown. And this will take time. This is the hardest part of the recipe. 7 minutes past this. Let's take a look at the onions. I've used almost all the water that I had in the glass, and they're just perfectly sauteed, browned, but not burned. Okay? Now the next step is I will add my spinach. The spinach is still frozen, and that's okay because it needs a little bit of the water to cook down. There we go. Okay. You're still going to be lower the heat just a little bit because you want the spinach to start releasing their own water, okay? But you don't just want to burn everything, so you're going to still stay here and stir it. This is a good time to add your salt. Again, with the salt and the spicy pepper, that's something that you need to adjust to your own taste. Unlike baking, with the cooking, you could have a little bit more of a leeway with what you put in and how you control it, okay? Okay, so the spinach is cooking down. Just 2 minutes have passed. What I'm going to do, it looks like there's enough liquid in it. What I'm going to do now is just lower my flame to medium, put a lid on, and let it cook for a good, I'm gonna say at least 30 minutes. In American cooking, our vegetables are not so cooked, but I know in Italy and in India and Pakistan, they like the vegetables very cooked. So here it is, it's cooking 30 minutes. See you in a little bit. 15 minutes have passed. Let's take a look. Okay, it's cooking beautifully, but it's not ready yet. Patience. Patience is a virtue, Baba would say. 30 minutes have passed. Okay, let's take a look. It looks fantastic. The great thing about this dish is that you could eat it alone as a main meal with naan, or you could do something else that I'm going to show you right now. Okay, now I am going to eat my spinach with an egg, and I'm going to show you how. I moved some of the spinach over into a frying pan. I put my heat on medium-low, and I'm going to crack an egg right on top. And just in a couple minutes, let's see what happens. Okay, a couple minutes have passed, and the egg is ready to be served. Let's taste it. Need to wait. It's very hot. Delicious. Thank you.